Novak Djokovic has slammed propaganda in the media as he makes a return to competition. The world number one blasted his media portrayal as he arrived at the Paris Masters, his first tournament since he suffered a heartbreaking loss in the US Open final almost 2 months ago. Djokovic has previously come under fire for his views on the COVID vaccine and his decision to organize an exhibition event in the midst of the pandemic. Although Djokovic did not play for almost 2 months between September and November, the world number one has consistently made headlines as he faces a potential ban from the upcoming Australian Open. The 9-time champion in Melbourne could find himself unable to enter the country for the season-opening Grand Slam, as government ministers look to introduce a vaccine mandate, something the Serb has been against as he refuses to disclose his vaccination status. Arriving in Paris earlier this week, Djokovic refused to comment on whether he'd play at the Australian Open until a final announcement was made, saying, "Until that's out, I won't be talking about this anymore because I don't want to be part of the stories about the assumptions and what-ifs." He has now spoken out against the media, touching on how he believes propaganda has been spread, and said he refuses to read news about himself, though still comes across it. Propaganda is spread that suits the elite or a certain group of people, he said. I haven't read newspapers, online or printed editions, I haven't watched news on TV for several years. However, due to my presence on social networks, I come across information that is leaked through the media. As well as his COVID vaccine comments, Djokovic has come under fire in the media for other reasons during the pandemic. Last year, the 34-year-old hosted an Instagram live series known as the Self-Mastery Project during the lockdown at the beginning of the pandemic, and was criticized for one episode with Chervan Jafarieh, in which it was suggested that positive thoughts could be used to change the molecular composition of food and water. I've seen people and I know some people that, through that energetical transformation, through the power of prayer, through the power of gratitude, they manage to turn the most toxic food or the most polluted water, into the most healing water, Djokovic said at the time. He was also criticized after the Adria Tour, an exhibition series he organized last summer, resulted in the likes of Grigor Dimitrov and Borna Coric testing positive for COVID, as well as Djokovic himself, as social media posts emerged showing players hugging and dancing during the event. Djokovic has now admitted that he does find himself affected by comments he reads, despite avoiding news reports, but said he would not let the feeling stop him from continuing to advocate for what he believes. He said, I can't say it doesn't affect me, I am human, I have emotions, and of course I care. As much as I care about advocating true values, fighting for justice and truth, I also care about what people in general think of me. My life does not depend on it, because I know who I am and what I am, I try to live life according to what is right. It doesn't affect me as much as before, because in a way I'm used to it, from the world media, even from the domestic ones. The world number one also slammed the propaganda he spoke about, adding, propaganda is being created, I'm drawn into all that on the basis of something I said earlier. The information has gone in a direction that is no longer the one that is the basis for journalism. There is less and less free journalism and information. More and more is controlled from one or two sources, so propaganda is spread that suits the elite or a certain group of people. It certainly affects me, but that won't stop me from advocating for things that I think are right.